In Egypt, the protests continue unabated. They are gigantic. Now some of the protesters are saying things like last 48 hours of Muslim Brotherhood rule, of course, because of the military ultimatum that was thrown down on Morsi. And one of the signs reads, Egypt awaits the army. Well, that sounds good to secularists, of course, because we're not overly fond of the Muslim Brotherhood. And there's certainly some of the actions that they've done to consolidate their power and questionable things they've done to the Egyptian constitution, let alone the parliament. And right now it does not look good for them because 6 ministers have already left. They're not members of Morsi's Muslim Brotherhood, but they are ministers of the government and they have resigned. The foreign minister has also resigned, Mohamed Morsi. And then Morsi's military advisor, General Sami Anan, left. And when your military advisor leaves the building, that is definitely not a good sign. And speaking of the military, this is the demands they have put on Morsi. They say the Islamist-dominated Shura Council should be dissolved. That's the lower part of parliament. The upper part is already gone. Morsi enacted Islamist-tinged constitution, and that should be scrapped. And a presidential council should rule by decree. It should have technocrats and other people that are trusted by the Egyptian people to take care of the government while they get ready for a new presidential election. And Morsi has basically seen those demands and said, yeah, not buying it, not interested. Gave a speech today that seemed to give in to none of the demands. Now, the Brotherhood's political arm had this response. It called on the people to rally to defend constitutional legitimacy and express their refusal of any coup against it. So they're using the coup word, saying that if in fact the military acts, it will be an illegitimate coup. Now, Yasser al-Shimi, who is an Egyptian analyst, or an analyst of Egypt, I should say, at the International Crisis Group, has some thoughts on this which are a little worrisome. He says, it will have to override the constitution, referring to the military, and wage a full coup. Things could deteriorate very rapidly from there, either through confrontations on the street or international sanctions. And by the way, Europe is already saying, if the military acts here unilaterally, we will consider it an illegitimate government. So that is troublesome, even though a lot of people are worried about what the Muslim Brotherhood is doing in power in Egypt right now. And obviously, they have lost a good chunk of their population. Some estimates have it as high as 14 million people that are protesting out of a population of 84 million. Nonetheless, the Europeans are saying it is what it is. He is the democratically elected leader, and there will be consequences if the military takes action. In fact, President Obama has called not just Morsi, but the American government has also called the Egyptian military, saying, hey, remember, we give you $1.3 billion. And they're telling both sides, cool it. Morsi, you got to listen to what the protesters are saying, and you got to come to a reasonable conclusion and compromise here. And the military, don't act too rashly. You might endanger your funding from the United States. So people are worried about what might happen next. And al-Shimi explains further. Morsi's calling their bluff, he explains, saying to them, if you're going to do this, you will have to do it over my dead body. And he has mentioned how he is willing to spill his blood to protect his cause and his office. That doesn't sound good. That sounds like it might be a lot of trouble, especially when you consider what his supporters are saying. First, Egyptian Armed Forces statement puts out comments saying the doctrine and culture of the armed forces do not allow the adoption of any military coup-based policies. The Egyptian military always stands by the will and aspirations of the glorious Egyptian people for change and reform. In other words, they're saying, look, we're not going to do a coup, but we're saying that action must be taken. Now, tick-tock, tick-tock, we're about 24 hours, give or take, depending on when you're watching this, from some sort of action. An ultimatum was laid down. They didn't say coup, but they did say action. We don't know what that action means, but they certainly seem to have a large percentage of the Egyptian people behind them if they did take action. On the other hand, there's, of course, a large contingent of people who believe in the Muslim Brotherhood. That's how Morsi won the election. They're not happy, and listen to what they say. Seeking martyrdom to prevent this coup is what we can offer to the previous martyrs of the revolution. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. So that is not good news. If in 24 hours we have massive conflict in the streets of Egypt, it's not good for anybody.